a poem expressing the imperishable passions of an ancient imperial capital. A drive shared by 2 generations up along the Silk Road. A dream of over half a century for an old man exiled from his hometown. A study of the familiar, yet strangest king of flowers. The history and mystery of the peony revealed. In the dark hours, as the city sleeps, the secrets of the heavens are probed and predicted. For the experts of the Luoyang Meteorological Administration, this time of year, as it has been every year for the last 30, is a matter of particular concern. The middle reaches of the Yellow River are a watershed for temperatures between north and south in China. Tomb Sweeping Festival marks the critical moment. It's the 3rd day after Tomb Sweeping Day, and the temperature in Luoyang is a steady 17 degrees Celsius. Luoyang sits in China's Central Plains, an area which has clearly distinguished seasons. Gu Yu in mid to late April is the last solar term of spring in the traditional Chinese farming calendar. This is when the tree peonies blossom. Their display will last for 20 days.
听众朋友，大家好，现在插播一条最新消息。接到市园领取通知，洛阳牡丹即将开放。
20 million visitors. It's a fetish that has flourished in the city for over 1,000 years. In the 8th century, Tang Dynasty poet Bai Juyi wrote of how this 20-day fever ran through the city. As blossoms burst and fall for 20 days, the city's folk all seem acraze. The peony is one of the oldest flowering plants on the planet. Appearing for the first time around 3 billion years ago, 3 billion years on, it has grown into one of the largest family of flowers with nearly 1,300 varieties. The peony is China's king of flowers, a star of myth and legend, and a symbol of the nation. The Luoyang Museum is the repository for many of the artifacts that reflect this long heritage. Every week, Museum Director Wang Shu makes a special trip to the vaults. By gently reacquainting herself with these old friends, She hopes she can find the answer to a question that's been bothering her for years. A native of Harbin in China's far northeast, Wang settled in Luoyang many years ago. She's been painting peonies in the traditional Chinese style for 30 years. She never thought it would be like this.
当时老师教我们画牡丹的时候，在大学呢，我就觉着接受不了这种花。第一次看到牡丹的时候，就是在我26岁的时候吧，在这个洛阳的这个公园里边。这个当时看到呢红色的、粉色的牡丹，哎呀，太激动了！从来呢没有想到自然界真的会有这么好看的花。
Woman and flower became bound together in a single destiny. It was the peony that rooted Wang Shu in Luoyang. Floral inspiration has a long history in Chinese culture. In the classic of poetry, a collection of verse from the 11th to the 7th centuries BC, 135 of the 305 poems and songs are inspired by flowers, but the peony gets no mention. Wang Shu wonders why. Peach blossom and plum flowers both appear in the classic and are common subjects in Chinese traditional painting. Wang matches them with peonies in her paintings.
牡丹画来说，比较适合呢大的色块来表现，而且同时呢，花的形态呢也十分的张扬、饱满、大气，所以这种色彩和形态的结合呢，我觉着就是很容易呢引起人们的注意。所以一幅牡丹画上呢，经常是一些这个不同的颜色，把牡丹连成一片，这样呢就形成了一种呢花团锦簇的视觉效果。
Wang Shu's intuitive visual experiences will not solve her conundrum. Each flower has its own distinctive beauty and features. As a peony painter, Wang has spent more time and emotion on the particular flower. But she is still curious to know more about the secrets hidden in its history. Each year, during the city's Peony Festival, a play is performed in Luoyang. It became so popular. Tsai Yun-jung is an archaeologist and another who is mystified by the lack of references to the peony in early imperial culture. Having handled cultural relics for decades, Tsai has no doubt that Luoyang and the peony are closely connected. But when and how did this come about? Tsai hopes to find some clues in the historical records and surviving artifacts. In the 7th and 8th centuries, Luoyang was an alternative capital for rulers like Wu Zetian. Customs and habits are deceptively modern or deceptively quaint. What is really traditional tends to be passed down unquestioned rather than paraded for inspection. To get married when the peonies are in full bloom seems as natural as the color of the sky. Whatever the changes in Chinese wedding customs over the centuries, the peony is a long hallowed guest on the marriage license. arts and crafts master Gao Shui Weng is attempting something new. San Sai, literally 3 colors, is a type of decorative pottery that originated in the Tang Dynasty around 1400 years ago. The 3 intermingling colors are traditionally seen in pottery horses, camels, and figurines. Little is known of how the plant came to be cultivated in the intervening period, but the Tang saw the Chinese Empire at its zenith of power and prosperity. Gao's celebrity comes from his remarkable craftsmanship. He creates his figurines using the same techniques as would have been used in the Tang Dynasty. The rounded faces and ample bodies of the Tang court ladies conform to a contemporary aesthetic archetype of female beauty comparable to the luscious milky white female nudes painted by Rubens or Rembrandt.
你像这种造型这种面相，他没有什么顾虑啊，也没有什么烦恼，像这些，他就表现出来他那种非常洒脱那种感觉。
By comparing the tomb figurines from different eras sent to accompany deceased members of the aristocracy in their afterlives, we can chart the changes in fashion across the dynasties. The slender and elegant figurines from the Qin and Han reveal the luxuriousness of palace life, but seem cool and remote compared to the warmth of character exuded by their Tang Dynasty successors. The kiln is fired by wood in the traditional manner to a temperature of 800 degrees Celsius, allowing the colors of the lead-based glazes to transform to the richness of their finished state. But they can also tell us more about the tastes of their age.
你就像这些唐代的这女佣啊，各种姿态的，各种形状的，各种造型的，如果要是都摆在一块儿啊，它就像一幅这个唐代的《清明上河图》一样，那非常的生活场景都能表现出来。
During the Tang Dynasty, many women enjoyed great social status and power. The peak of this was the reign of Empress Wu Zetian, the only woman to rule China in her own right. Among the privileged classes, the search for luxury, novelty, and beauty was a ceaseless quest. But the prosperity of the empire was not limited to the elite, and a flourishing popular culture also emerged under the Tang.
就在这样的氛围中啊，人们产生了一种崇尚奢华、以废为美啊这样的社会观念啊。牡丹花花形硕大，晒在眼里啊，可以极大的冲击人们的视觉啊，给人们一个观赏享受。 这就是我们今天说的大饱眼福啊。
When Zhou Feng painted his picture of the court ladies adorning their hair with flowers, plump figures were still very much in fashion. But the peony was a new adornment to their beauty and probably represents a crossover from folk culture into the lives of the elite. Historical records tell us that flower festivals were held each year when the peonies came into bloom. Women would decorate their hair with the flowers and carry bunches in their arms to exchange in the market. Tang Dynasty poet Lu Yuxi writes, The peony is our only national beauty. When the flowers bloom, the whole capital is stirred. "1,000 kilometers northwest of Luoyang, Lintao County in Gansu was on the frontier of the Tang Empire. But even there, the mania took root. In May, Lintao's peonies are in full bloom. 78-year-old Li Jigun is picking out the blooms in his courtyard garden in preparation for the annual flower fair. The yard is small, but it's been in his family for hundreds of years. The flourishing scene is the result of generations of effort. Lintao is located on the northern extreme of the Peony's Range in China. Its annual flower fair seems to recapture the bustling atmosphere of the ancient Silk Road. Since this fair only occurs but once a year, people present their best specimens to share with others. It's been like this for 1,000 years. Precious peonies are beyond mere monetary value, so the growers usually prefer to exchange plants rather than buy or sell. This year, Li hopes to realize his father's dying wish. The peony growers have a saying: it's easier to become a millionaire than to get a hold of a Buddha's head peony. The Buddha's head variety has a compressed spiral of white petals, as neatly arranged as the Buddha's hairstyle. It took 400 years of breeding to develop. It has been Mr. Li's long-cherished dream to get his hands on this variety. The moment represents the achievement of an ambition held over 2 generations. Li carefully transplants his new prize into his yard. From now on, the garden will be graced by a new beauty year on year. Proud of his new specimen, Li invites his neighbors to join him in a celebration. Since the Tang Dynasty, the peony has never been out of fashion. A beauty, a medicine, and a symbol and a source of wealth and fortune. The peony is horticultural expression of the China dream. Taiwan is a paradise for flowers. Although mild throughout the year, its tropical climate is not in general suitable for growing peonies. At 82 years old, Xu Baorong doesn't leave home often. But in March 2013, much to his family's consternation, he traveled 300 kilometers across the island to the Qinling Mountains. On the journey, his mind wanders back some 60 years into the past. Meanwhile, others are bustling about to welcome some precious guests from the central part of China. 8,000 peonies from Luoyang, which have been sent to the island. Here in the mountains, at an altitude of 2,000 meters, in a relatively dry and cool climate, the peonies can, in theory, survive. It's the first time that peonies from the Chinese mainland will be shown in Taiwan. The young plants have to gradually adapt to their new environment before being ready to come into bloom. In preparation for the exhibition, a 15,000 square meter covered peony garden has been built. After 5 months preparatory work, the people of Taiwan will finally have a chance to enjoy the beauty of the Luoyang peony.
开锣仪式，3、2、1，开锣拉财，富贵吉祥，艳冠群发，国色天香，花中之王，喜气洋洋。
With the 8,000 specimens, demonstrating 55 varieties, this is the most ambitious show of its type ever seen in Taiwan. For Xu Baorong, it's like greeting a long-lost friend.
感觉很美好啊，很幸福的感觉啊。
对那个牡丹花的喜好，大家都是一样的。我想这是一个文化认同感吧。
其实追本溯源，我们的老家就在河洛。那这次成功的从大陆洛阳引进这个牡丹花，我感觉有点像我自己的身份哈。我们希望它能够开枝散叶，就跟我的子孙一样啊，能够在定居安和乐业在台湾这一块土地。
China has seen many great waves of migration, spurred by war, catastrophe, or government policy. For those who left the banks of the River Luo, the peony became known as the Luoyang flower. Born in Donghai County of Jiangsu Province, Xu arrived in Taiwan with the defeated Kuomintang Army in 1949. He hasn't been back to his hometown in 60 years, but he still recalls the spring of the year he was 12.
我说这什么花？他们说是牡丹花，啊，因为颜色大概，有点好像没那么紫，也不是那种大红，好像有一点，像粉红那个感觉。以后就再也没有看到牡丹。
It's been a 60-year wait for the Luoyang peonies to arrive in Taiwan. Xu Baorong hurries to see them, hoping to find the bloom that so impressed his 12-year-old self.
哎，哇，好像是这个，哎。
In this moment, the old man seems to return to his childhood. It's as if he's seeing the peony for the first time once again.
先生，请你告诉我一下，啊，你好，这边这个花的品种哈，是哪一类的品种啊？
这个是洛阳红。
洛阳红，这个花我12岁的时候就看过。
哦，那你今年几岁了？
今年82岁了。
哇，那70年了呢。
对呀，60多年了，没有见到这种花，所以看到哈，非常的感动。心里很难过。
老婆，你不要难过。你看，这个花这么漂亮。
凡是家乡的东西，在台湾看不到，能看到跟家乡的时候，会勾起过去的记忆，勾起我在那个学校读书的情形，啊，那同学的情形。
In sun-linked sea forest, Mr. Xu plants a Luoyang red, facing towards the direction of his hometown. Living across the sea in Taiwan for 60 years, the peony expresses his homesickness and longing for his hometown. Migrants to southern China often took peony seeds with them where they could flourish in the more remote and mountainous areas. The peonies are more than just plants. They are the repository of nostalgia and all the attachments and longings felt for one's roots in life. Located in its strategic position in central China, Luoyang has seen great glory and great upheaval. The only constant was the flow of the river. Sima Guang, a famous historian and scholar of the 12th century, wrote, "To understand the vicissitudes of Chinese history, one merely had to look to Luoyang." In September 2012, an old peony pattern bedsheet became a hot topic on the internet. It became known as the national sheet.
这条床单起初在网络上出现，不经意间被转发了3万多次。因为大家发现，原来这条老式床单曾经你家有，我家有，家家都有，为此被大家亲切地称为国民床单。
In Shanghai, people find inspiration from both the contemporary and the past. Nai Jiayuan is a designer at the Shanghai Minguang Sheet Factory. He's racking his brains for a new design. His working notes, going back 3 decades, may provide him with inspiration. Among them, there is his original design of the national sheet. Nai produced the design in 1985, at a time when he was deeply in love.
我记得差不多前，我还没成家呢。那个时候，我和我的恋人就是一人一张券，这个券是市场上没有的。 我就去买了这一条。
This basement warehouse is where all the samples from the past 30 years are stored.
像这个床单，85年的床单，比我女儿还大1岁。我们明光厂床单主花呢，主系列这么多年来，主系列是以牡丹为主。你看，主花都是牡丹。
The peony pattern sheet set a new record. At a time when the Chinese people were not rich, its annual sales reached over 10,000. Every bride wanted a sheet like this in her dowry. The peony is a symbol that has crept not just into people's beds, but into almost every corner of people's lives. Its annual fluorescence represents a flamboyant beauty and an unconquerable dream of the possible, a hope that springs eternal in the hearts of all Chinese people. Paris, the capital of France, is also famed for its history as a capital of art. Remy Mathieu rides its streets every day. He must cross the River Seine to reach China in far-off Asia. These stairs connect his life and work. They also launch him into his studies of Chinese culture.
On voit qu'elle est à la fois liée à des relations amoureuses, à des moments de bonheur, comme le mariage par exemple, mais aussi à des moments douloureux, donc à tout un ensemble de vie affective. Donc on voit bien qu'il y a tout un ensemble complexe d'intérêts pour cette fleur dans la civilisation chinoise, et cela très très tôt, depuis l'Antiquité. Donc c'est une des raisons pour laquelle mon choix s'est arrêté à cette fleur en particulier.
The Yellow River flows through 9 provinces and crosses the Central Plains. On a warm spring day, a ceremony in celebration of life is held by the Yellow River. On the 100th day after a baby is born, the family will hold a banquet to celebrate. This has been the tradition here since times immemorial. Of a locket can protect infants. The characters on the locket invoke blessings for the newborn, and the positive message of the peony pattern is eternal. The Song Dynasty tomb shows how the peony was sought as a companion in the afterlife. Coffin and walls all display peony patterns in carvings or in murals. Their jaunty brightness rebukes the shade. As the plant hunters of the 19th century discovered, China is home to an extraordinarily rich range of flora. However, none cross the boundaries of time and space between the spiritual and the material worlds as freely as the peony. Chinese New Year demands the staging of a classic Peking opera. A famous line in one epitomizes the bond between the peony and the Chinese people. Pingla village in Luoyang is deep in Peony country. The history of their Peony connection can be traced back 1,000 years. It has given the villagers a unique way of celebrating Chinese New Year. It's too early in the year for the peonies to bloom, so the villagers make them bloom on paper instead.
我心愿愿望就是说，画出精品牡丹花，让这个展现给全国人民，给他们增加福气，增加富贵。
过幸福日子嘛，家家有牡丹，家家挂牡丹。
这牡丹，这是国花，它代表着吉祥、喜庆、雍容华贵。
Like the warm smiles on the villagers' faces, their peonies carry their heartfelt wishes for the coming year. As he strokes the red buds, Tsai Yun-jung claims to be able to hear the plants growing. The buds first appear in the depths of winter, awaiting their cotillion season. The history of the peony is like the history of the nation. Cruel winter drives the flourishing herbaceous growth underground, and the hardy tree peonies back to their bare stems. But each spring, as the sap rises, they burst forth once more, effervescent, vibrant, vivid, and indomitable. Is this what Mr. Tsai is feeling when he communes with the people's flower? In part, perhaps, but behind every bloom, there is a new story to be found. "60-year-old Gore Shusha has been working this field for over 30 years. The peony has borne witness to her whole life and brought warmth to her home. From the first festival 30 years ago, Gore has seen huge changes brought by the flowers. Every year, more and more visitors come. She has a flourishing nursery business, selling as many as 500 pots a month. The festival season is the most important time of the year for her financially. As blooms burst and fall for 20 days, the city's folk all seem a craze. Bai Ju Yi's words seem as appropriate now as they were 1,200 years ago. Meanwhile, in Pingla village, there is also an atmosphere of expectation. 52-year-old Gao Chuanzhong is waiting for his first order.
是不是名家画？名家这个价钱你听听。我要是说这是名家画，你30万、20万。这个是30。你们能拿几张？多了我可以优惠。因为啥？画这一张不容易，画这一张不容易。就是说大众消费，你挂到家里满屋激情的都对了。
From 8 to 80, the 700 villagers at Pingla all become painters at this time of year. Each year, 300,000 of their peony paintings are sold to people from all over the country. These farmers' paintings carry the same auspicious meanings as those done by professionals. Perhaps that's the answer to Wang Shu's quest. It's the inner power of the peony that has made it China's best-loved flower. Any single interpretation of the people's flower can only express part of its real meaning. Perhaps many years from now, we'll still be looking for answers to the question we asked today. It's a search for the truth in our nation's soul.
以时珍的《本草纲目》中称说，牡丹虽结子而根上生苗，故为母。因其花是红色的，所以叫丹，所以合成来就是牡丹。好，
牡丹花没这个
开的事来了，他就不说个样点开。
Probably few realize that the peony flowers we see today are mostly quite different from their ancestors. The peony is the most familiar flower to the Chinese people, but also the strangest. Its image travels across time and space, to be found in great cities and tiny hamlets. We have just begun to scratch the surface of the story of the people's flower. A forgotten history behind a commonly used Chinese medicine. A true ancestor of the King of Flowers yet to be discovered. From simplicity to myriad complexity, it's all in the breeding. The unveiling of a legendary mystery that surrounds the people's flower. Please join us for the next part of the Peony.